Hey y'all, how you doing? Today topic is why join a bass club, and today's guests are my arm's almost not long enough. Is Brian and John. I'm gonna chit chat for a little bit, get this going before we get into this. So if you're rewatching this, I'll put the where to skip ahead to down below. While everybody's getting tagged in, this weekend is Clear Lake.
Yes.
And for our tournament, so you're gonna see a Wednesday straight, not straight legends. I'm losing my words
Straight
right
talk.
now. Straight talk.
Basically,
you're gonna see a Wednesday
recap.
straight talk, which is the recap for Clear Lake coming in. Brian and I are actually fishing with each other also, so that's gonna be fun. And you're fishing with Big Mark.
Yep, Big Mark.
Big John and Big Mark. It's gonna be the big team.
The big team big.
Berryessa was just this last weekend. I have not reached out to Crappie Closet to find out what their tournament was. I'm sure it was fun for that.
Oh yeah.
And then BBT just fished Berryessa, and first place had, what was it, 34
no,
or
48.
48?
48
48 pounds, and third place had 34 pounds for 2 days. That's 2 days.
Yeah.
Still,
So
that's
that's-
a 24-pound day each day.
Yeah,
Almost a
That's-
5
that
pound.
vary?
Almost a 5 pound average. Close to 5 pounds.
yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
hair shy of
Yeah.
5 pound average. I would be
Mm.
stoked for that. Berryessa's definitely got some bigs in it right now.
They're chewing.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. In order to cut a check, I think you had to have 13 or 14 a day or something like that. When I looked it up, like you had to I think it was like 14 something a day to cut a check in their TOC for BBT. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid bags both times, and to be consistent. And from some people, were saying that Berryessa was stingy a little bit too.
Yeah.
Definitely had some stuff changing.
Yeah, they had a little weather change.
Well,
sort of
didn't
zapped
it rain?
a little
It
bit.
rained on Saturday of their tournament, right? Like that would definitely change some of their thought processes or the fish in general, right? Like you have to adjust with that weather change like that, right?
Yeah, and I guarantee you there's people who were on amazing bites that were enough to at least
Yep.
cash checks, and that all shut down.
Yeah.
Because
So
of the rain.
Yep,
Yeah.
It changed big time up there, but there's always a few people that figured it out, right? There always is.
yeah.
Always.
Always.
Speaking of weather changes, our tournament's this weekend, and it rained today.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. I'd rather it rain today than Friday.
Yeah, if you want to know what weather's gonna have, or if you want to know what weekends are gonna have bad weather right before the tournaments, I'll just
Mhm.
give you our club schedule, and
Yeah.
you'll know which ones tank right before. And also, the other part of that, side note, if you're a snowboarder or a skier, our schedule lines up perfect with that also.
Yes.
So the times that my buddies are hitting me up, I'm either on call for work or have a tournament, and those are the best weekends for snowboarding and skiing. Horrible for fishing, but otherwise,
Could have snowboarded at Berryessa last year.
right?
Right.
Dang near, on the way up to Berryessa, I was trying to pre-fish the day before, and they wouldn't let me up because they closed the road because there was a powdering of it or a 1 inch or something like that.
Yeah.
I told them, I said, I got 4-wheel drive, I got snow tires, it'll be
I
fine.
can make it.
Yeah.
What's happening, Getsy?
Hi, little buddy.
You guys gonna bring up the open at all?
So also, yeah, the open is.
November 23rd.
I'm glad he said that because that's still not the number I remember.
November 23rd at Berryessa at Puta Canyon Resort. We will start checking people in about 4 o'clock in the morning. You could pre-register.
4:30.
4:30. You could pre-register. We're paying back 85% to the field.
On Big Stringer.
On Big Stringer, Big Fish, we're paying back 100%. And then we're going to have a large raffle after that. We have a bunch of raffle prizes. Some of the sponsors that we have, like Gone Fishing Marine, Todd's
Yeah.
rods.
A lot of
Todd's
good
custom
stuff.
rods art.
Yeah.
He made us a custom rod for the Open, and it's a very nice rod.
Yeah. Along with, I think he donated like $1,000 worth of tackle.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good raffle prizes for the after party on that one.
Yeah.
Nope, I could participate in the raffle part.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Hey, you may not win it, but you have a chance in the raffle.
Yeah, I might not
Yeah.
win if I
You could always walk away with a custom rod or a new graph or various different things that we have. I think there's like one of the bait shops. I'm blanking on it right now. Put in like $100 gift certificate. Oh, the one out of Katati.
Katati, yeah.
Yeah, the outdoor place out of Katati has a couple of $100 gift certificates.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. It's $150 total. $30 again, 100% payout for the $30 big fish, and then 120 is 85% payout. That is better payout than, well, pretty much any other circuit that's out there right now.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the club, let's get into it since
why not?
people have jumped on here now. Today's topic is why join a bass club, or what's the benefits of a bass club? Just anything on that's free on that. We'll start around by saying why I joined a club versus, and then we'll go to the different ones. I joined the club because, well, my dad was in it, and that's what got me into fishing. And it was a really, really good excuse for me to have to go do something once a month to get out of the house at the time.
Yeah.
And it's just good camaraderie and all that stuff. I grew up around a bass club. Back in the days when we all had motorhomes or campers, cab over campers or tents, and everybody would go up to the lake on Friday night or Saturday morning and wouldn't come home till Sunday. And we'd have like potlucks and stuff like that, where like each person kind of brought a different dish, and then we'd throw it all together and then just chow down. Always have plenty of leftovers.
Good times, man.
Fun stuff. How about you, John? Why'd you join?
Well, like I said, when I got back in, or when I got introduced to tournament fishing, you just start meeting a few people, and I got so hooked on the tournament aspect of fishing, and then next thing you know, you meet a few people that are in clubs, and so I just sort of ventured into the clubs. I first joined North Bay Bassman out of Benicia. And then the partner I started fishing with was in the Fairfield Suisun Bass Reapers. So I ended up migrating with the Reapers. And like you said, it's just a good time. They get you out once a month. You get a meeting once a month, which is a blast. I love going to the meetings. More times than not, the meetings are fine.
Yeah,
it's fun.
They used to have some negative undertones in them, and they're definitely a lot more fun.
Well, yeah, because you've changed the format a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That and we just had guest speakers in deep on the Delta. Steve Cooper just came in 2 months ago, and then
we had Billy Hines in last month, and but no, that was it. I just sort of the same thing, my buddy was in the Reapers, so I ended up jumping to this club, to the Reapers, and it's just a good time. And then when I fished, it's basically a club too. When you're doing circuits, it's almost like a club, except you have no meetings or nothing, but you're running a circuit, so you're seeing the same faces, and it's just a good time. Time.
How about you?
I have multiple reasons.
First, we'll start with one of them.
I'm going to start with one of them. One of the reasons why I joined the club, again, same as James, was my dad was in the club, right? And that's kind of what steered me that way. I kind of backed out of the club for a while with, new jobs and stuff like that.
I did also.
Now, with the job that I have now, I look at the club probably different than most people, right? I look at the club as it's a social group. I look at the club as I have a bunch of new friends that I could go fishing with. I could call them, and it doesn't have to be at a meeting. It doesn't have to be at a tournament. I could call them any day and be like, "Hey, you want to go fishing? Let's go fishing."
I don't know how many times I've texted somebody on a Friday night and like spend like I probably only have to text like maybe 2 people before somebody says yes.
Right. But with that, you know, you're hooking up with different people. You're learning different things, right? Like for a long time, I was a non-boater in the club. Even as the president, I was a non-boater.
Right.
But sitting on the back of everybody's boats, on top of, you know, like it's basically like going to a pro-am all the time, right? Like it doesn't matter.
But you get to pick your partners.
Yeah, you get to pick your partners for our club, right?
Yeah.
Like there's other clubs that do draw tournaments, but you know, when you're going on somebody else's boat, if you ain't paying attention, you're losing, right? Like
Absolutely.
there's a ton of stuff you could learn from somebody
Yeah.
all the time, no matter what level they're at, right? Like, so being able to, I feel like my fishing game has increased by fishing with multiple people on the back of their boats, right? Not going to just what I'm thinking, let them think and let them run and then see what they're doing, right? Like
what style you like.
What style there is, because there's a bunch of different style. Like for instance, we were talking about Carolina rig the other day. You throw a Carolina this way, you throw it that way, I throw it a different way.
Yeah.
But if you fish with all 3 of us, you're going to look at every one of them and then take what you like out of it, right? Like, and then you're going to get better. You're going to like that style, and you're going to go for it, right?
Yeah.
But realistically, for me, it gives me something to look forward to. What's up, Matlock? What's up, Marlon?
Crappy Closet, tagging in.
But it gives me something to look forward to. Like I know what my schedule is, where we're going to fish for the whole year. It's set up. Our next year for 2025 is already set up. We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I know where I'm going and fishing, and it gives me an opportunity to go learn new water, to fish.
Even if you don't want to.
Even if you don't want to go fish places that I would never probably just go to, right? And that helps me understand my fishing, and it helps me like for us, I would say that we're like a beginner club, right? Like we're a beginner learners club. That's what the Bass Reapers are. There's other clubs that are more
cutthroat,
hardcore,
hardcore, competitive,
better competitive, better fishermen, which I'm not saying that we're not, but I'm saying that
more expensive.
But like
a lot
more expensive, right? Like
definitely more expensive.
Those are things to look at, right? Like for
absolutely.
me, realistically, with the job that I work, I need the stress reliever. I need this social group that is not the same coworkers that I work with, right?
Yeah.
So me being able to go, like what James is saying, go out and we go camping, we go have barbecues,
The camaraderie around the group,
right? And we have a common grounds of fishing, and that's what we talk about all the time, right? Like
talking smack to each other.
Yeah, it's like a big social group of friends.
Yeah,
I agree.
That you don't like you. It's one of those. It's like a group that even if you don't talk, like so in between the meeting and the tournament, or let's say somebody skips a tournament and you go in between meeting to meeting, that when you walk in the room, it's not like, oh, I haven't heard from you. It's like you're just right back into it again, and everybody, like, it doesn't matter. Somebody could be gone for 6 months because of whatever reason, vacations or whatever, and it's still like a super inviting place to just show up to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like I said, each club, like one thing nice about our club is it's great for the newer people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number one, if they boater or a non-boater, they're going to get a ride. They're going to get some really good experiences, good learning just off the back of the boat, right? I mean, we always talk about, you always learn, but you know, for the newer people, or even for me, a guy that's been fishing forever, you know, you can learn new techniques, you can learn boat positions. Like, wow, I wouldn't have thought of doing that way. And I've been in a boat since '88. Like, wow, that's a trip.
Right.
So it's really, it's just, and it's like you said, it's just a great time. It's a good release from your daily lives to get away for a weekend, do a little fishing, and
Still got-
and the reapers too is it's affordable. That's the other thing I like about the club. It's extremely affordable because a lot of the circuits are getting expensive.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, for
when you're
sure.
talking about like a circuit going fishing somewhere, you're talking most tournaments, you're talking at least $100 to $200 to $300
Oh, yeah.
to fish,
Easy.
right?
Yeah.
The weekend.
Yep.
And that's sometimes just a day,
Yep.
right? For us, it's $40.
Yeah,
Yep.
$40. That's $30 towards stringer, $10 per boat
Yeah.
for big fish.
So realistically,
And that's for the boat. That's not per person. That's
Yeah, that's
for
the whole
boat.
boat. That's
Yeah.
team. The
So,
whole
like-
thing's team format.
so like for me and James fishing this weekend together, I'm going to pay $20. He's going to pay $20 to fish the tournament.
Yeah,
It's not
you
going to
can't-
break.
You can't beat that. I mean, it just, you throw, like you said, you throw a few bucks in, you may win a few bucks back. You have a great time. It's very low key. We still want to do good. We're still competitive, and we're still, wanting to do well. But at the end of the day, you come in, you're laughing, you're joking, and
Going for that angler of the year.
angler of the year. You got to get the
Right.
Well, like the one thing with the club, like especially like we're saying, like the lower level, right, is that if you're just a weekend angler, it's a perfect place for you to be.
Yeah.
We have people that have fished one tournament the entire year. We have 11 tournaments. The only one that we don't do is January because, frankly, it's too cold.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of why we don't do January. But you just have that entry level part where you can come into it. You don't have to be a dedicated thing versus there's other clubs or circuits you have to be dedicated in there. Like you still have a chance at any level in our club tournament to come out with a win
Oh,
in
absolutely,
that.
yeah.
Like you can have a banner day and come out with that W, and it's kind of nice. Like I can't say I only have 2 in the last 2 years that's happened for me, but it's nice when it happens.
Yep. Yeah, well, it isn't.
You don't win that much?
Not for the day. I used to.
He just
I
second, a lot of
used to.
seconds and thirds, huh?
Yeah.
I used to, but I've had a lot of seconds and thirds in the last several
There's
years.
that AOY thing again. Seconds and thirds work good.
Hey,
Yeah.
seconds and thirds are it, right? AOY.
Yeah, it was enough to clinch AOY for the year,
I
but
know,
But like, it's something that you could do. It's something you could go do, and it's almost like, like if you join a sports team and you're on a team, you always have those friends, those people that you can lean on, and no matter when you see them, if you see them, like you're saying, 6 months to a year down the road, it's, hey, how's it going,
Yeah.
right? Like,
and instantly it's like
And-
that time's gone, right? It's like you haven't been apart, right?
and there's definitely the times where if somebody disappears for a little while, you reach around, like whether you directly reach out to somebody or not, like you'll ask, like, hey, where's so and so been? Where's so and so
Yeah.
been?
Yeah.
And somebody was like, oh, I just talked to him. He's been tied up, busy, kids, work,
Yeah.
whatever the reason is. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
yeah,
Like it's just kind of nice to have like that group that tags in and keeps out on
And
you.
you know what's another thing I like about the club, like our level of club fishing, is I don't feel pressured to have to get out and pre-fish.
yeah.
It's if you can, it's great. Obviously, it'll help more than it doesn't. But if you can't get out and pre-fish, it's not like you've invested
A ton of money.
$600-800 for the weekend for this big tournament, and you got 0 time in the water, right? That sucks. Where for us, you just roll up, launcher, and go see what you could do, right?
Yeah,
And then
That helps.
Traditionally, our weights stay lower, like our weigh-in weights will stay lower than, well, the big leagues, basically.
Sure.
And you can just fumble around on the water and stumble on something and knock it out of the park and not.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on the water 24/7 trying to drop 30 pounds at
No.
Clear Lake. I mean, everybody would love to drop 30
Absolutely.
pounds at Clear Lake,
Yeah.
but
that's what we're doing this weekend.
yeah, that totally is what we're doing
It's
this weekend.
going to be 3-day total, but
it's gonna be Friday,
I'd be okay
Saturday, and Sunday.
10 a day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, shoot.
but
I'll take
like
30.
Like Matlock's talking about here is like there's some clubs or formats that they have are different, right? Like I really feel like what we're talking about is our entry level club is like a really easy going format. Like for example, you could fish one day, and that's good for the weekend. You don't have to commit for both days.
That's huge.
Right? That's huge for some people that can only take one day off, or they have something that's going on Sunday. They need to be with the family.
Yeah.
You can fish the one day, and you're still going to be in that point race for the year. It doesn't affect anything.
And we have 11 tournaments and 2 drops.
Correct.
So not only can you fish only one day and still get points or whatever, or credit towards your AOY, but you can actually miss 2 tournaments on top of that. I mean, you got to be really good in the rest of yours, but you still have a chance if you have, like Getsy's got a daughter's wedding coming up and stuff like that.
Sort
like,
of important.
Sort
of, kind of.
I told him it's not important.
Flipping
but
a coin situation.
Right.
He said that Mom was gonna kick his ass if he didn't, so I don't blame him on that one.
The other thing that's good about our club is the format of us being a team tournament. So, for example, like the BAM tournament, the Pro-Am, the pro had to catch his 5 fish, the amateur had to catch his 5 fish.
Yeah.
Right. So that's 10 fish that they got to be able to produce and put in the boat. Right.
And the back person is trying to clean up what left over from the front person.
Correct.
If you get a really good front person, that back person,
you're
they're around fish 24/7, but never had a cast.
You put somebody like who just won that one, right? Ostrander on the front. His backseater said on an interview that
on the final day.
The final day, that guy was like a vacuum.
Yeah.
He was picking fish up. I didn't think I was going to get a full limit.
Yeah, and he only had 4 by the end of the day, even though Ostrander had a limit and was culling.
Right.
That they ended up moving to another spot just to help him out on the coast.
Yeah, he totally hooked him up, which is really cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome. He did that. That's amazing that he would. That was because he didn't have to.
No.
That's one thing about the Pro-Ams is, man, they can literally stick you out in the middle of nowhere and they're not breaking no rules. That's it's almost like in the Pro-Ams, I think you're paying for like a guide trip, observation of watching a pro. And if you're lucky, you catch fish and have an okay tournament. But I think in the mindset for me would be, I'm going to learn. I'm going to watch. I hope I do well, but I know there's a chance I'm going to get shut out.
I'll be honest with you. If I were to fish every single one of those BAMs, to have as a backseater, to have the chance to get on Clear Lake with an Ostrander, an Ish Monroe,
Paul Bailey,
like Paul Bailey, any of those Clear Lake sticks, Ken Ma, and then let alone also Delta the same kind of way, like.
Yeah.
That would be worth it, even if you got it once that whole year.
Yeah.
That would be worth it. And then there's a lot of other names that aren't the conventional names that you still, they're sticks. They're like, was the one guy's from like Washington or Oregon or something like that, that was in the top 10 or top 3 or something like that. And like, dude has to be able to know how to catch them in order to get to that point, period.
Yeah. I've only fished one Pro-Am. I never got into it. But I fished one on Clear Lake as the Am, and it was interesting because the first day was summer, so we were on the 6-hour days. But what they did, it was a 1 bass, and so it was a shared weight, which is great for the guy in the back. We did a morning session.
On that all day long.
We did a morning session with one pro, and then we came in, we weighed, took a break, and then we went out for an afternoon, evening session with another pro, and then Sunday morning, we fished, so it was really cool. We got to fish with 3 different pros.
Yeah, that.
And I got fortunate on Sunday. I drew. The first day, guys were newer to the deal, great guys. It was a good time, but we didn't do very good. But we did get, we had limits. But Sunday, I drew. I think his name was Jarrett Stone, who's a Clear Lake guy, and he showed me some frogging stuff that was pretty interesting.
Nice.
And we had one of the few 20-pound bags of that morning session. We had a 20-pound bag of 4-pound clones
Keep in mind, this is back when 20 pounds meant something.
Yeah,
and
20
clearly,
pound. And
unlike right now, the 20 pounds is like, okay, good job.
It was eye-opening
20th place.
Yeah.
to watch what he was targeting for frogs.
Right.
Like,
Approach or
I couldn't believe it. It was worth it just for that session with him was worth the money I paid for that whole weekend.
Yeah.
Have you been able to duplicate it since?
I have.
Then that's all that
Yeah,
matters.
it was eye-opening, and I'll tell you what it was. How little bit of shade you need to catch a fish on a frog.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, no depth. I mean, he was hitting spots that were maybe off the bank 2 feet by 4 foot because the sun's coming up. He'd throw his frog on the bank, bring it in, and kaboom, man. It was eye-opening to watch him fish the frog.
But like that's exactly what you just brought up, the combined weight. That's what like our club does, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Like I'm fishing with James this weekend. If James gets on a bite and he's catching every fish, I will be the best deckhand that he's ever seen. I will net all his fish.
But the way it'll probably go is I'll be deckhand netting him, and he's probably gonna.
But it doesn't matter because it's a team event,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the camaraderie on the boat builds even higher, right? Because if I start catching stuff and I'm hammering them on a color and I have a whole bag of this color
Yeah.
and he doesn't have it, get in my stuff.
Yeah.
Here, throw it because he's my teammate now, right? Like,
And then the other thing is like you're working together too. Like, so let's say I'm throwing this thing and I'm getting bit. He's gonna turn around and throw something else, right? Like you're using the team to go. So if I'm fishing solo, I want to make sure that I get every bite that's going on here. And then, hey, if I saw something I can flip at, I'm going to throw that flip on there. Versus if your team, you can actually go down that bank faster.
yeah,
And that's what helps a lot in that club atmosphere. All of our tournaments are team. There's no individuals.
yeah.
In the past, there were individuals, whole ton of issues. There was always something going on.
Yep.
Once we switched to team, all that stuff went away.
Yep.
There's very few incidents that happen, and it just ends up being
Yeah.
two people can't fish with each other because they just butt heads too hard.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's few and far between too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. And,
It
and
it
the
always will.
Well,
There's
you know,
nothing
the
you can
club,
do
and
about
like I
that.
said, the club right now we're big enough that it's not hard to find somebody to fish with.
Right.
Even if there's a couple people like, we just don't quite
And there's-
see eye to eye on the boat, styles, technique, whatever it is. But you've got so many other options to get paired up with somebody.
And there's
And,
so many different personalities
Oh, absolutely.
to fish with,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
like is
Yeah.
that I'm telling you, if you join a club and you're able to start fishing with other people, and I mean I'm gonna fish with people like outside of the tournaments, right? Like we were talking about, and just go out pre-fish and if I could show them something, I'll show them something.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, I'm gonna be paying attention to what they're doing,
I had
Sure.
right? Like
That's right.
I'm hoping to learn something if I'm pre-fishing with them.
Yeah, like I
Absolutely.
had Berryessa tournament this last year, spawn-ish time. I took my co-angler into the Narrows and showed him what I do with the drop shot and like how to get bit doing that. Well, then he turned around and took his wife and showed her how to do it, and then they caught fish on it for a while after that. I don't know if they still are doing it or not. But
Yeah.
they still had fun doing it, and it's nice when I get the report back for me that they're like, oh yeah, I've been catching them on stuff like that, and it's like that's really cool, like that you had like help somebody along, like you watch them progress.
Yeah.
Getsy, I think I'm gonna leave the you having 4 personalities alone.
His 4 personalities.
Well, we could go any way you want to go with that.
It's all 4 tactics that he
Yeah,
throws.
yeah,
It's either
It's all 4.
super
it's the
slow
4
drop shot.
It's the 4 quarters of the day.
Yeah, he's a super slow drop shot, power fishing. Yeah, there's.
Uh,
It's all depends on which 4 baits he's throwing,
Right.
and he usually only throws 3. The 4th one's a spicy one.
Yeah.
Gets asked earlier. Talk about how people join for the Bass Reapers. If you are in the Fairfield, Vacaville area,
Hold on.
We have people
Fairfield,
in,
Sassoon, Vacaville,
we have people in
Sparks,
We have a guy in Turlock.
Turlock,
We have that's right. We
Benicia,
have
I
one in
think.
Sparks,
Sparks,
Benicia.
Nevada.
I think isn't there a Contra Costa guy?
Couple
There's
Contra Costa.
there's some
areas.
Contra Costa County area that's gonna like basically anything in that area.
All
Our
the way-
meeting is the first Tuesday of the month
Yeah.
at Round Table Pizza in Cordelia.
It starts at 6:30.
It's right by the Costco.
Yep.
It's over there. Like there's the Round Table people that's over by Costco Safeway or something like that. Right where 680 and 80 come together. If you come to that first Tuesday of the month, you're more than welcome to come in and meet us, join up with that. And then
or just see what it's about.
Yeah, come hang
Yeah.
out, meet some people, and
yeah, you don't even have to. It's
Yeah.
not like a you join right then thing. Just
Yeah.
come in, meet everybody,
Yeah.
say hi. The three of us will probably be there. You can come say
and
hi
there's
to
a,
us
and
there.
there's a really good chance if you're interested at the following tournament, you could probably get a ride
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the tournament because
you don't have to have a boat.
You don't have to be a member to participate either. As long as you're fishing with a club member, you're in the tournament, right?
Yeah, and that's boat side or non-boat side.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I think currently right now we have more boaters than non-boaters.
which is a good thing.
Yeah, so it's a lot easier to get people in, assuming that they're able to fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now we're in pretty good shape as far as boaters. Far as I think we have still probably a little. I don't know what our roster is at, but
We're like
It's like
a little.
47.
yeah,
We're
we
Yeah.
just under 50.
We're just under 50 members right
yeah.
now.
So we could, you don't have to own a boat to join the club.
Yeah.
And the odds are really good. We'll if we got to shuffle and break up, like we can be set up to fish a tournament, and then all of a sudden we have some non-boaters that really want to fish but can't find a ride. We'll split up.
Yeah.
We'll split up and do everything we can to make sure everybody gets out.
Yeah.
That's never been a
100%.
Yeah,
problem, right?
We always try to not ever leave somebody on the bank.
Yeah, no,
for
never.
sure. Definitely rather keep somebody fishing. I mean, heck, I'll fish solo if that means that somebody gets to get on the bank or gets to get off the bank. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's that's the other thing that's good.
Angel, hey, what's going on?
happening,
Chimed
Angel?
in. He said, team format tournaments are the grassroots of the sport. They rock.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
Not to be a complete side wrangle for that, but the team tournament for MLF, they have their new team series.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, you need to watch it. If it comes up, it's off-season stuff. I can't remember when the next one is, but you actually get to have two pros on the front of the boat on the team, and they are talking through the day. They have 4 cameras, 4 sets of boats, or
Wow.
4 boats, and they drop them on the water, no pre-fishing.
I like
They
that. I like
all
that.
meet. They all meet at this location over here in some town, and then they get in the truck or they load their boats because they're using the league boats. So they load the boats, then the 2 pros get in the passenger seat, and the marshal drives them to the lake.
That's pretty cool.
So they don't find out what lake they're getting to until on the way. So there's no research, none of that stuff. Now, some of the pros have fished these lakes before and stuff like that, but they drop them in. So now what ends up happening is as you're listening to this, they'll cut the camera to them and they're going, man, we can't get bit in this shade. We need to move. We need to, like, they're talking through the process that you would do in a normal team.
Yeah.
Stuff that I would love to figure out how to edit down when like Brian and I are fishing or whatever for the team tournaments. I'd love to be able to edit all that stuff down because that's really how you learn.
Yeah.
The most is how people break that water down because everybody has the same playing field on the water. It's how you break it down that makes the biggest difference.
Correct.
So, and then like back to the team atmosphere for the tournament or for the club side of it is that you're learning all that breakdown, all that other stuff.
For me, when I'm fishing with somebody, even if I'm on the back seat or the front seat, I'm always talking. I'm always talking about, hey,
I'll be asking for help, and my co-angler go, whatever you want to do, and I'm
Well,
like, no, I need help.
But something though, even for somebody like me I've been fishing a long time, like you say, you don't quit learning. When I'm with Brian, every time I fish with Brian, he's offering me rods, or he literally picked it up and goes, John, throw this frog, the Delta, throw this, and I'll grab it and throw it. He's always thinking fishing, but he's also thinking of his non-boater too. And if he thinks of something, he's going to try to do everything he can to help you catch a fish, because you are a team, right? You're working together. And like he says, and like we say, every rod in my boat is available to my non-boater.
Yep.
Tackle,
Same way.
you can, anything in there you want it, you just go get it. You can take it, but
why
that's the other thing that's nice too, right?
Yeah, as a boater, I'm not gonna have my co-angler, who's also on my team, go back to their rods, cut something off, and then retie something on when I have one sitting on my rod, sitting right there on the deck. Pick it up. Like I recently fished with Braden at the Delta, and I was like, hey, you should probably throw a Cinco right now. And he's like, well, what should I do? And I said, there's a rod right there. Open that rod locker. It's the camo one. Pull that out.
Yeah.
And he threw that the whole rest of the weekend. Zero problems with that.
Yeah. So speaking of that too, like for example, Braden is a club member. He's joined. He's with us. 15 years old.
15, 16,
Youngster going out and fishing with us.
Him and his mom.
It's cheap enough tournament, club stuff that the kids can be involved. For example, this weekend, my dad is fishing with my oldest kid, right?
Yep. That's
Which
awesome.
has been on the channel. But she's fishing with him at Clear Lake this weekend, which is an awesome thing, right?
Heck yeah, man.
Granddaughter fishing with grandpa, right?
Like,
getting out there. But that's the club atmosphere, right?
But if you were in like a major tournament, you're
probably not going to do that.
Probably not going to do that.
No.
Right.
And they're probably going to do really good too.
I hope so. That'd be cool. I'd love to see that actually.
Yeah.
That wouldn't hurt my feelings at all.
I'd be completely fine if both of them kicked our butts.
Yeah. I have no problem with that.
Yes, 100%.
And I'd definitely be taking some pictures.
Yep. Matlock says, please mention they can always ask questions on Facebook and Instagram. So that is our
so Bass Reapers is
Fairfield
Sassoon Bass Reapers is on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you have any questions about joining the club, you can always hit them up direct. You can also hit me up on my Instagram or comment down below or YouTube or whatever. I'm more than willing to give out that information. We actually have a member from this that actually found out from the club from this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And he joined because of probably one of my worst performing videos.
I must have been in the boat.
I had like crankbaits and stuff like that, and I was showing how to clean them with like magic erasers, and then showing like the different things to like clean it. And the guy literally was like, well, if he's that much of a nut about this, maybe I'll check the club out. He's like,
that's funny.
Like, dude, if I'm cleaning baits, scrubbing it instead of just picking them up and throwing them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Marlon came on. He's Crappie Closet.
Yeah.
He says, for the November tournament, do you need to pre-register? He's talking about our November 23rd
for the open tournament.
Open tournament. If you pre-register,
it's $10 cheaper.
Yeah, it's $10 cheaper.
You can pay day of. There's
Cash
a $10 late fee, basically.
Yep.
And please bring exact change if possible, because
it's cash only.
Because sometimes it gets a little tough making change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bring extra money because we have the raffle out.
Yeah, and bring a pile of money
yes,
for raffle.
You can do either, or you can pre-register, or you can pay day of.
If you want to do it via check, you want to mail it in at least 2 weeks before that. That way we have enough time to get the check and cash the check and then get your paperwork. And then you'll pick up your paperwork that morning, so you don't have to worry about getting anything mailed back. Yeah. You just have to fill out that entry form and then send it to the address that's on there.
And we'll message you back saying it's all good.
And that's bassreapers.org, O-R-G, to find out that information, or Instagram, Facebook, same thing. Fairfield Bass Reapers, YouTube.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Well,
all sorts of comments.
Steve Sumner's
on.
Yeah, he's on. He said, good evening, fellas. Good stuff. I've had great days over the years fishing as a co-angler.
Yeah,
which
for sure.
100% fishing on the back of a boat, learning different things, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
just watching, right? And I'll give you an example of some of the stuff like throwing an A-rig, which some tournaments don't allow it. We do because we're a learning club. We don't really care. But like fishing the A-rig, learning A-rig when I was new at it, fishing with James. James changes all the snaps out and puts snap swivels on there, right? There is no connectors, and he uses screw locks.
I do the tactical bassin.
Yes.
It's the exact setup the tactical bassin recommends.
So he does all of that. Well, I fish with another guy that's pretty decent fisherman, and he leaves every one of them on and quick connects his A-rig to the he
pulls it straight out of the package, hooks the jig heads onto it, puts baits onto it, and on the top, he doesn't put jig heads or anything on the teasers. He just clips the baits into the
clip,
the snap of the swivel, and then throws it that way.
Yes.
I have so many problems with that because they tumble. But
so
it still works. He still catches fish, so it doesn't really matter.
So with that, me learning, I change all my hooks out with snap swivels to where if I hook a fish, it's as strong as it can be.
No, he eliminates the snap.
Yeah, I
just
put the split rings on there.
Yeah,
and then I do what he is irritated with.
He leaves his teasers as just the snap.
Yeah, I just push them through and nose them and go, and we could go fish the fish.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It truly doesn't matter.
But
I mean, there's a big wire thing hanging off the front of it. They don't care about that. My only thing is it stays right side up.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Well, you know something else too, just not fishing related with the club is if you have a problem with something, the odds are you're going to find somebody that could probably give you a hand working on whatever it is. It could be a vehicle, it could be anything, your boat, and
I don't know how many different graphs, Lowrance graphs I have set up.
Yeah,
probably set up a lot of Lowrance graphs.
Well, but you know what I mean? There's a lot of that too, where it's just such a great group atmosphere. You got a problem with something, bring it up, and pretty good chance somebody's going to chirp up and say, you know what, I know a little bit about that. I can give you a hand.
Yeah, they've either
set
ran
up a day to
across
work
it or
that's the other thing that's nice.
To go back to the beginning of it, you're actually getting like our club. You're getting good friends, right?
absolutely.
You're getting those friends that you could call on at any point in time, and they're going to be there for you, right? Like,
absolutely,
any of it, and that's what you want in life, realistically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like for me, realistically, I retire in 6 years. I
never retire.
You never retire.
But
I get to retire in 6 years. I look at this club as my retirement community. So when I leave work, I'm going to have all these guys that are still here, that are still fishing. Half of them are retired already, right? That we could just fish all the time. I have my friends.
Money allowing.
Yeah, money allowing.
Right?
You can go, but you can go weekday fishing.
We can go weekday fishing, or golfing, or whatever, right? Like I have that group of friends that I have for retirement already. That there's a lot of people like in my job that don't have that. Like they don't venture out.
Yeah.
Let's see, Brooke chimed in.
Yeah, your daughter chimed in and says I didn't think about this. She's never actually fished a tournament.
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No.
Yeah, I did not think about that.
That's good. You're gonna have such a great time, and
so she gets to experience fishing tournaments.
You can get Grandpa scrambling for the net. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you get to yell at him, Grandpa, get the net!
Get the net, Grandpa! That'll be great.
And hopefully he's not yelling at you.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right?
Just know you just need practice netting in the beginning. That's all you got to do. Practice your netting first.
You'll be just fine.
Summer wants to know how many active members do we have on the roster. So
currently right now we have 47 members that are paid members, and you have to be paid yearly in order to be a paid member.
Correct.
And
which is $50 for the year. And that includes.
We can get into that for a second for the money. As far as active members who physically show up, we're averaging 12 to 16 boats. So that's what, 24 to 32 people out of that 47 that show up.
And it all depends
and
on where we fish.
we've had more boats and that, but we're averaging about that ballpark of areas.
Yeah.
And it's not the same 12 boats, same 16 boats. Like it's different rotations. And like I said earlier, you had those 2 drop tournaments that you can have. So if you don't show up to all of them, you don't show up, and that's how you get that rotation.
Yeah.
If we had everybody show up, then we'd be at what, 20 something boats? Like
we'd be close
we're really
to
not
23 boats.
Yeah, 23 boats. We're running like 16. I think the most we've had is 18.
I think we had an 18 this year.
18 boats out of 23 potential.
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty good activity wise. Like it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Also, Steve Sumner, the open tournament, pass that on to your guys that you know down in your area for Berryessa.
Yeah.
If you can, please. Because I know there's definitely people from your area that run up and fish Berryessa, and man, it's fishing so good right now. What else you got?
Well, it looks like Matlock's a little jealous.
What's he jealous of? Big John has been on here lately. Where's his shirt and hat?
I'm too big.
He's not a hat guy. He's not a hat guy. Otherwise, I'd have him a hat already.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting. I have asked him twice now for his shirt size, and I have completely forgot what it is by the time I get to it.
It's a lot of X's, dude.
It's just I can't remember if it's 1 or 2 or however many X's it is.
It's more than that.
But that is coming. That definitely is coming. Hamster 123. I learned fishing clubs to put frogs on my A-rigs.
Catches them all the time.
So I have a wild idea about an A-rig, but it's not California legal. I'm curious, can you put crankbaits on an A-rig and catch fish? It's not California legal in any way. I've definitely seen split rigs with glide baits where it actually looks really, really good. It just looks like 2 fish swimming. You can get them to swim with each other or and then like opposite of each other. It's kind of cool. Frogs on A-rigs though?
I don't know.
I have another wild idea, and if somebody makes it, I just want credit for it. Tag the channel. And that is, it probably already exists, but it's an A-rig, but instead of teasers, it has 2 buzzbait blades on the top. So you have 3 bottom baits and 2 buzzbait blades on the top. Buzzbait casts about 3 feet, and an A-rig casts about 3 feet. So I think if you put together, it is only going to cast 1.5 feet. But it's an idea that I've had for a long time, and I never have made it.
I saw a new one on Facebook. Gosh, what was it? It was it might have been it was either a swim bait or a glide bait, but they put a jitterbug mouth on it, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh,
blade.
there's a
it's
what's the name
it's
of that
probably
thing?
a legit lure, but I've never seen it before.
It is. It's a Japanese bait. I cannot think of the name
Man,
of it.
I thought, wow, that's different.
It's on the hookup tackle. Every once in a while, it shows up like once a year or something like that on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It shows up on there, and then they have that the cicada one that has the blades, the walking bait.
Yeah.
The walker, that one. Those ones look really cool. I don't even know where I'd even throw that thing at. But the jitterbug one is a I almost had the dang name.
Sorry.
I almost had the name. I'm not gonna remember it.
It was trippy. I saw it like yesterday, and I've never seen that before. I'm like, whoa, that's different.
Yeah.
So James has probably got it. And he's
No, I
looking.
do not have
I'll go in his tackle room. He's got to have it in there.
I'm on tackle restriction. I bought too much stuff over the years. I'm on restriction.
Brooke says she could net as long as she doesn't get her line in any of the motors. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, she's done that before.
Yeah, possibly. And Matlock,
I recently did that early. Yeah, I've recently.
You got a
sucked
video
up line.
You got a
into
video
the
when you
trolling
caught
motor.
a ghost.
Yeah, I was drop shotting straight down in 60 foot of water.
Yeah.
Drop shotting straight down, and it like hooked in, and I was like, dang it. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I knew immediately what it was.
Matlock does say he is a little jealous.
Well, Matlock, if you come on the lives, then maybe you could. We could talk about some stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I'll bail right on out and you come on in.
Yeah, I have 4 mics.
We have 4
I
mics.
don't
You
know
can
if-
do.
I don't know how I can fit it on my camera, but we could always figure that out.
Yeah. And then hurting for sturgeon.
Hurting for sturgeon? What's
Yeah.
happening hurting for sturgeon?
What's going on? We sturgeon fishing yet, or
I am-
what?
Sturgeon is back open, catch and release.
I'm in.
Oh, is
Can't
it?
wait. It is
Yeah.
back
Oh,
open,
you wanna
catch and
go?
release as
I
of
do.
All right.
I'm in.
October 1st, I think, was the opening day for catch and release sturgeon.
You have to
So,
buy, so we don't have to buy a tag then.
you do have to buy a tag. You just don't get any take-home tags. You have to buy the license. You just don't get tags.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
only
should
like
say.
$10.
Yeah, it's like 10
Oh,
bucks.
okay.
Yeah. It's easy.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to sit and BS with people.
Yes.
Sturgeon
It is
fishing
some chilling
fun.
fishing. I love it.
And
Yeah.
when you
It
do
is
hook
fun.
up, if you
It's
get
a-
a big enough one,
It's a mess.
it's with 8 lines
Fire
out.
grill.
Yeah, you got
Fire
8
grill.
lines out, and your sturgeon hooks a right,
Yeah.
and the right 2 lines, you're like, oh, get him out of the way, get him out. Okay, you're like threading the needles, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
that sturgeon hooks a left and goes all the way across.
Turn it off the
it's,
heater.
it's fun.
Because you don't want to sing the song "My Buddy's on Fire."
Yeah.
Hey, there's no joke. I've watched people with the heater on the back of the boat. Their pants
lean in,
melt.
yeah, lean
Oh,
in too
yeah,
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just look back and you see you just see like steam, or you hoping it's steam, it's really smoke
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Sumner says, "Heck yeah, his club has a meeting tomorrow night. He'll pass it on.
Oh, cool.
Perfect. I appreciate
Perfect.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bassreapers.org. I'm sure you're already watching that, but still,
Yeah.
if they ask.
Yeah.
Jackal. That's it. Your jitterbait thing is made by Jackal.
Oh, okay.
Not Razor Shad. Nah, I'm not. What else you got? Sean Heap. It's from Lucky Craft, and it's called a Sammy Bug. I believe that's also.
They're
I think they do the
discontinued.
same thing.
Yeah.
But the Jackal still makes it, and I cannot remember. It's like Razor or Laser or something like that. They are very rare to come across.
Well,
but
he
if
says
you go on there,
Those
it
Sammy
is-
bugs are discontinued, and then he's only got one left, and they go for $80 on eBay.
That's too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
$80.
I mean, it probably works.
ain't
It
going
probably
up,
no
ain't
way it
going
doesn't
up.
work.
If it's discontinued, that
Let's
Yeah.
put it this way: people aren't paying $80 for a discontinued bait unless it does work.
yes,
Right.
absolutely.
That's for sure. Because there are definitely some discontinued baits out there that nobody is paying $3 for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some discontinued one at home that nobody even would take for free.
Right?
But like what we were talking about before, and keep it moving, is the money for like our club. It's $50 for a year to be a member,
Yeah.
and it's really only $30.
So technically, so here's how the $50 breaks down. So you $50 when you join the club, you
Right.
pay $50. Okay, $10 of that gets paid back to Big Stringer of the Year. $10 of that gets paid back to, or additional $10, I should
Yeah.
say. Additional $10 gets paid back to Big Fish of the Year. The remaining $30 gets split between first, second, and third, 50, 30, 20. 100% of your pay-in goes back out. The only way our income that pays for our insurance and stuff like that comes from the
Permits,
raffle.
insurance.
Comes from the raffle from our open tournament.
Yeah.
So, and that's that reason of why we don't have very much expenses is the reason why we're able to do the 100% big fish payback and the 85% payback on the stringer.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because we only need enough to float the next year. And the more people who join that tournament, potentially the more money we pay back.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you can get people to join in this year, we may be talking to bump that 85%
Yeah.
and start going towards 90% payback.
Yep.
To where we're doing this, we just need to survive the year. We really want to give back to everyone and have it be a fun, family oriented. Like
Yeah.
we have fathers that fish with sons. We have boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives,
We had,
dads and daughters, moms and sons.
we actually had last year a husband-wife team show up to fish the tournament. Not really bass fishing people.
In an
Oh,
aluminum,
yeah,
in an
yeah.
aluminum
I know.
boat.
In
I
an
know you're-
aluminum boat,
yeah.
in a meat boat, basically.
Heck
like,
yeah.
but they came in, we were set up camping and they pulled in and we're like, hey, they're like, hey, there's supposed to be a tournament here. And we're like, yeah, we're running it.
Yeah.
Set up your tent right there. And they came over, they talked with us most of the night. And then after the tournament, they're like, man, this was awesome. The very next meeting, they were at the meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fished.
Joined the club. Both of them joined the club.
Both of them
Yeah.
joined the club.
I'm-
And now one of them, Elau,
Elau has a name now.
he's got a name.
Yeah.
Oh, Elau.
I named
he's,
him.
He's actually our tournament committee chairman
Yeah.
for this year.
Yep.
So,
And great
And I'm-
people. Great people.
Yep.
Great
And I'm
people.
Comanche tournament, which is November.
Oh,
Carita is my co-angler.
Don't bring that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
that was scary.
We don't-
Dude.
I'd rather give the 3 evil letters than talk about Comanche.
Right? But no, it's a great thing to do and enjoy. I'm gonna have fun this weekend. I'm gonna be hanging out with James, my dad, and my daughter, staying at Clear Lake this weekend, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it'll be a great weekend, right?
great times.
Guess he says, Elau.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
Elau tagged in too.
hey.
Hey, he is here.
Yeah.
All right. Shh, can't talk about him anymore. He knows we're here.
Keep
But
it-
yeah, no, the club environment is definitely something, and I sell it to even some of the people that I work with. I'm trying to get them to try to, like I got one guy that joined the club that he has a boat, he bass fishes, he just doesn't get out very often, and I had talked him into joining the club, and he joined the club, and now he's got something to look forward to, right? Like
Yeah.
that tournament once a month, he knows where he's going. And that's the great thing about knowing the year out, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you
Yeah.
could tell your loved ones and schedule it out. Hey, I got this. This is the year.
Yeah.
Like, this is what.
Yeah, this is
I
the
got
weekends I'm
scheduled.
busy.
Yeah, it isn't getting dropped on you month to month like at
Right.
the meeting. Oh well, by the way, this is the weekend we're gonna go,
Right.
and it's like in 3 days.
Right.
Before they're like, whoa, that
Yeah.
that's not good.
And then-
we're so scheduled out, it's great.
Yeah, so I take the Friday off before every tournament. So it's like a 3-day weekend to me for every tournament.
Yeah.
And I don't even pre-fish every single time. Most of the time I do pre-fish, but that just gives me a day to get up there, get set up, camp,
Yeah.
whatever it is
Yeah.
for the weekend.
Yep.
And it's hard to pre-fish and do YouTube too, right? Like,
Yes.
because we don't want to, shoot a YouTube video
Yes.
for the club to say, hey, this is
Yeah, let me
how
go
we're
tell you-
catching everything
Let me go tell you everything that was my best bite possible.
right before a tournament.
And then, have a tournament happen and you basically just pre-fished for your entire club.
Yeah.
But Saturday after the weigh-in, the top 3 on the most part tells you how their day went and how they caught them and
What colors?
what
Yeah, kinda-
colors and so you're going to get some info. Like if you have a rough day
Yeah.
or didn't have the greatest day, you're going to get some tips.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it isn't that
At
it's
least-
all just shut down or even cruising walking around talking to the guys. I really struggled today. What do you think? Where was my mistake in your
Yeah.
opinion?
100%.
So that's always good too.
The unwritten rule is Saturday top 3, like he's saying, gets to say what they got it. Now Saturday is usually a little more tight-lipped.
Yeah.
For the most part, I'll leave out. I will give you enough information that you can put the rest of the pieces together.
Yeah.
I may not lay it out for you, but you definitely, from what I say, you can plug in the last couple of pieces
Right.
and
Yeah.
go at it.
Yeah.
But
Sunday you get a lot more said on Sunday.
Correct.
And it's not in our rules. It's just kind of an unwritten thing.
Yeah.
Some people definitely are a lot more clammed up than other people.
Sure, which is fine.
but you got to also pay attention because the way that the tournament life's been going and fishing's been going one day to the next day.
Yeah.
That one day, Saturday, I could say, hey, I caught everything on a square bill,
Yeah.
red square bill. This is the color. I'll show you the color.
Yep.
Yeah, and it does, especially
So-
Delta.
Yeah,
it doesn't
especially the
matter.
Delta. The next day, that thing didn't work at all.
All
yeah,
information
you
is
go out.
void.
So you take the information that you got from the top 3 teams, and you go out and none of it works.
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
don't get too bent out of shape, because there's a pretty good chance it's because it's fishing and it changed, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can go up and they'll say the same thing, like, oh my God, yesterday I hammered them on that square bill, and today they wouldn't touch it.
A lot of it for me when I hear them talk is because I've definitely been in that seat where I'm like, today sucked. I don't know. I barely scrapped together a limit or didn't limit.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
And then you hear what they're saying and you're like, man, I threw chatterbait. How
Yeah.
did they? And then you start, okay, I need to sit down and keep that chatterbait in my hand until I can figure out something.
Yeah.
And then usually once you get those first couple bites, now you got your clues and you could start rolling. It's just those first clues that lock you out, you have troubles with, and you can't quite get over that. And that like learning club atmosphere is what helps that so much more.
Correct. Or
Because
hey,
I mean,
hey Brian, what are you doing for dinner tonight? You want to grab a beer?
yeah, I've definitely had those days where I train wrecked so freaking hard and I have no clue what I did wrong or what zigged or what I zagged, and being like, I need a beer to wash this down. And most of the time when we talk, we really aren't even really talking that much about it. It's just a couple clues. Like, I just want to know depth, speed.
Yeah.
I don't even really
Yeah.
care about color. Like, I
Mhm.
might ask for a color or something,
I think,
or
to
maybe a
me,
tactic at most, but that's about it.
Depth, to me, is probably the most important, because I can adapt to the depth. If you know, if it's deep, then it's pretty good chance that you're fishing on the bottom with something, right?
Yeah.
You know, not guaranteed, but you
Yeah,
can.
the deepest thing you got's
yeah.
a 18 or 20-foot deep diver.
Yeah, and all my fish were in 40. You know, there's a pretty good chance that I was doing something, you know, on the bottom. And
Yeah.
and to me, depth is a huge tip. I was given a tip in a TOC on Berryessa one time where the first day we struggled. We got lucky. We didn't weigh in the limit. We were one short of our limit, but we got lucky. I did get the big fish for the weekend, and it was that day. Got very lucky to keep us in contention. And my buddy was leading it, him and his partner, as a team tournament. And I just asked him, I don't want to know where you're at. I don't want to know nothing, but do you mind throwing me your depth?
Yeah.
And he gave me the depth, and I was just off by 10 feet.
Yeah.
And it made
It's-
and we almost, you know, we ended up like 3rd place, and we missed first by a pound. But that one little tip solved I was locked. I couldn't figure it out all
Yeah.
day, you know, and me and my partner were just like, God, why can't we figure this out? Especially when you're one short of a limit. It was so frustrating. And then when my buddy turned us onto the depth the next day, it's like, there they are.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just couldn't figure it out on the water, which happens often.
But that's the purpose of the learning club, right? Like,
Yeah.
and even when we do, if you weren't there at the tournament, at the meetings, when we read off what the results from the tournament, and first, second, and third, and big fish at the meetings repeat what they did.
Yeah, Big Fish also talks on day 1
Yes.
and day 2.
Yes.
But you repeat what you did. It is kind of interesting to see the differences between what they say Saturday, Sunday,
Right.
and what they say when the meeting comes around. Because there are a couple of people who think that they're super sneaky, but if you actually pay attention, their story changes a little bit
Yeah.
on those.
So you're saying at the tournament when they go, we got them all on a crappie jig, and then at the meeting they got them all cranking. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, they
Something ain't
go,
jiving.
oh, I was throwing a swim bait, and
Yeah.
what they left out is what that swim bait was on the back of.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a swim bait.
Yeah.
Or I'm
That's
throwing an underspin, and it's like,
funny.
oh, okay, yeah, you weren't throwing an underspin. That was a spinner bait. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of technically was
That's
still
funny.
there, but it's a little different.
It's funny.
Yeah. But it's a learning club. You're going to learn a lot. say for our club, right? Like,
Yeah.
but there's multiple clubs out
every
there.
club is different. That is for sure.
Every club's different. Every club has pros and cons.
Absolutely.
And I highly recommend getting into a club.
Yes.
And Getsy commented, match the hatch. You end up with little phrases that happen that
Yes.
everybody in the club understands what that is.
Sorry, Steve.
And sorry, Steve, to the point where when I was talking about sorry, Steve, there was people going into stores asking, hey, do you guys have sorry, Steve?
Yeah.
And that, for those who don't know, that is Jack All Flick Shake 4.8 in watermelon candy.
Right.
And it is a club staple now for sure. Like, I don't know if we are the reason why they're sold out on Tackle Warehouse, but I kind of wonder sometimes.
Yeah.
I can't. I've never owned one. I can't get it.
Elau said we have Elau too, right?
Oh, Elau was one of the ones that actually went in there and be like, "You guys have a sorry, Steve?"
Right.
He ratted himself out on that story.
Yeah.
He's not the only one either.
He's not the only one.
And I've had people message me on Instagram saying, "What is this again?" Because I tried getting it, and this isn't a bait.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, good.
Anything else?
No.
Not a lot. It's just, it's like you said, and there's a lot of clubs around there. If you start really looking depending where you live, there is a lot of little bass clubs around that you could check out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And
In your area.
yeah. And I would highly recommend checking it out if,
Find out when their meeting is and just show up.
Yep, go to the meeting and see what kind of a vibe you get off of it, right?
I think we have 3 people here saying that they've gone looking for sorry, Steve.
Yeah,
possibly.
Paul just submitted he did the same thing too.
I think Getsy did too.
Yeah.
Well, that's all that's all it's called, right?
Yeah, when you're doing the final wrap up on the 3, you got him saying sorry, Steve, me saying sorry, Steve, a couple other members all saying sorry, Steve, and all the newer people are like, what is this thing?
I guarantee you, if you didn't tell me it was sold out, I'd have done it too.
Right.
I'd have rolled into Fisherman's Warehouse. Hey, do you got the Jack All?
Yeah, that's the
sorry, Steve, and they're like, never heard of that one.
Yeah, that is the only color that they do not carry that they used to carry. They actually took it off of their shelf at Fisherman's Warehouse.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they could get it.
I think that's what it is. They have troubles getting it. Like the peg is always empty. It doesn't look good. It's a really good color though. I mean, there's a reason why that peg's always empty.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't run their ordering process or understand their ordering process enough to say what they should or shouldn't.
Right.
So,
DTF fishing, what's happening?
What's happening DTF fishing?
But yeah, no, go out there.
Does DTF stand for Down to Fish?
It's definitely Down to Fish.
It's kind of a cool name.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
gonna
like
lie.
that.
It's way better than straight hook fishing.
But definitely go out there, check out some clubs. If you check out some clubs, go feel them out. Go to the meeting, go see how they are. There's different clubs that do different things. Like for us, our club's been around since 1972, right? Like it has gone through the phases to where it is now. And like right now, like you've said, John, you've been out of the 3 of us, you've been in the club longest.
Yeah.
You say that it's probably the best now that it's ever been.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
we have a great format right now, and the like I say, the rules, just the format we're running. Number one, keeping it a team atmosphere is probably the biggest thing, in my opinion, because it makes it too when you're trying to. That's the one thing too. If you're new and you go to a club, and all their events are draws. I mean, it's okay, but
you don't know who you're going to end up with.
And I just, man, we've tried that route a few times, and it was more trouble than it was worth.
Yeah, draws tournaments sound great because you're like, hey, I get on this person's boat. Same thing as like I was talking a while ago about the joining the BAM to get a chance to get on the Ostranders, the Maws, the Ishes, all those other places. You would want to do a draw in that club atmosphere so you could get on it. But if you get in the right club, you don't need a draw. You just walk up to the guy and say, hey, would you like to fish?
I really want to fish with you.
And
Yeah.
99% of the time, they're like, yeah, no problem. Or, hey, I can fit you in on this month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that person does drop the ball, then you just wait a couple of months, ask them again.
Yep.
Or hit them up for fun fishing. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people are a little scared to fish tournaments. You just hit them up like, hey, I got a weekend, 3 weekends from now on a Saturday looking for somebody to fish. You down? And shoot, most of the time they're all going to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the same passion, right? Like,
I will tell you too, like, I really don't care about the fishing when we're fishing the club, right? Like, if you're a club member and if you come up to us, like we're out there fishing and you're having a hard time, you come talk to me
mid-tournament.
Mid-tournament, I'm going to tell you some stuff.
Yeah.
I've thrown sorry Steves on other people's boats, right? Like, you have this lure. No, here, throw it right over there. Just go far enough that you can cast over to this point. And we sat and casted to the same point on opposite sides and caught fish over and over and over and over again, right? Like,
I've definitely had where like, hey, I'm out of these. Do you have them? Yeah, here you go. No problem.
Yeah. But that's the thing about like a learning club, a lower money club, because you're not really, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're not.
I'm out $20. Cool.
Yeah, you're.
Yes.
If you win the whole thing, you're paying for your gas. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
DTF says
fine.
he is definitely yes to down to fish.
God, that's such a cool.
Look, he's got even a logo, bro.
That is such a better name than straight hook fishing.
And the logo's even better.
One day I might get into why straight hook fishing ends up where it's at. But yeah, better logo, better everything.
Yeah.
Better pizza, better. Now that we're all loopy, I think that's pretty much it. Look up your local club. If you are interested, you're in that Fairfield, Vacaville, Sassoon, whatever area, NorCal area.
If you're willing to drive and come to a meeting, and again, like for our club, you don't have to come to every meeting.
You just got to make it to one and a club. Well, when you get there, we'll explain all that stuff.
You
If
come
you
to
have
one
questions,
meeting,
you can always hit me up.
and then fish one tournament, and you could join. Papa John's, Eli says.
And Getsy tagged in. Getsy's also a member, and he says it's the guys for sure.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good atmosphere. It's being able to BS and rag on people and do all the stupid boy stuff, and everyone's in for it.
We have girls.
2 female members currently.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
And
potential 3.
Yeah, potential 3.
Yeah, potential 3. I fished with one of them. I'm about to fish with the other one.
Comanche.
We
Yep.
got 2 youngsters and
Yeah, we got a couple of kids.
Couple of gals, and
It's definitely like great atmosphere, accepting of all.
Yes.
yes.
That's the
Absolutely.
Is that the key words these days?
Yeah.
But genuinely
very
though,
woke
it's
of you.
very genuinely though, like just show up.
Yeah. You'll have a great time.
If you like the vibe, then stick around and it'll be fun.
Yeah. Again, though, Barry S. Open, November 23rd.
Yes.
Look us up, bassreapers.org.
Or Fairfield Season Bass Reapers on Instagram or Facebook. As far as for this channel, if you have any questions, comment down below. You can always hit me up on Instagram, and that is also Straight Hook Fishing for all that. I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna go find some food because it's dinner time, and I might get some chili fries.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you, James. I had a snack before I came over here just so I can.
He did.
I can make it through the day.
Well, fat kids do fat kid things.
Well, I like to eat.
He's good at it.
I do like to eat.
All right, y'all. So until next time, Wednesday next week will be Clear Lake. That's 4 p.m. On Wednesday will be the Clear Lake recap. Hopefully with us catching fish.
Yep.
That'll be really nice. Maybe some decent ones. And then probably do a live also. Not sure what the topic is yet, but probably do a live too because, well, they're fun. So
maybe we'll bring Matlock down on that one.
you know, maybe we'll get some variety in here.
There you
or
go.
Maybe I'll sit out and just sit as a moderator, like between two ferns style or whatever that is, where I can
Or
moderate from the background.
Yeah,
I don't
between
know.
two ferns. We need to get
We'll
a couple
find out.
ferns.
Yeah, I have something that might work for that.
We'll
I
just
only
set up
got
a
one of them.
couch right here and we'll just pile in, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll start sitting on each other's laps. And
There you
stuff like that. All right. On that
All right.
note of lunacy that's not going to happen. All right, y'all. Until next time, I hope you get them.